What's good, beautiful people? It's your girl Tay. I'm here yet again with another stimulus update video. So definitely make sure you guys smash the like button, comment down below, subscribe, plus push your post notification bell button so that way anytime I upload a video, you will be notified. So I'm pretty sure that all of you have heard by now that the Senate did actually pass the $1.9 trillion stimulus aid package. So we're just going to go over the details of that my way, okay? So it says the bill passed on a party line vote and will now head back over to the House, which means the Wicked Witch of the West, Nancy Pelosi, will have to get her group together to hurry up and sign that they approve of all of the new amendments to the bill. And then hopefully once they do that, then it will go all the way back up to our President Biden's desk so that he can sign it. And President Biden also released a statement saying that he suspects that if they can get this done in a timely fashion, that the stimulus payments should go out within the next 2 weeks. So we're still on, I would say we're still on track for the stimulus and the unemployment payments to continue on and not expire, because you know the current payments would have expired on March 14th. We're still on track for that to happen. It's just all a matter of how long it takes for them in the House with Nancy Pelosi. So it says basically the same thing I just said. The House will have to reconcile several key changes before it heads to President Joe Biden's desk, just days before the unemployment benefits are set to expire for millions of Americans. Okay, so now let's get into the details of this package. Where is it? Okay, so Democratic leaders were forced to trim back weekly jobless benefits from the $300 boost from the $400 proposed boost. So it's going to be $300 boost now, and it's going to last all the way until September 6th instead of August 29th, which was the original cutoff date. So you're getting $100 less, but you get a week extra. The first $10,200 of income for those jobless Americans making under $150,000 would be tax-free. So as you guys know, you have to file taxes on your unemployment benefits. It gives you the actual option, at least out here in California, you have the option on your claim to have them take some taxes out of your check. Now, from what I've seen in the years that I've claimed, it's not a lot. It's not the same as it is for a job for those of you who are filing for the very first time. So again, just in California, in my experience, they don't take out $50 to $100 whether or not you have dependents. It's kind of like a set rate that they take out. I'm not sure if it goes based off of your weekly amount, but as of lately, or the last time I would say that I actually did file for those benefits, I would say they were probably taking out $10 to $15 a week. So that's not that bad in my opinion. But for those of you who are filing for the first time, I think that it's good that if you don't want to worry about having this be an issue at the end of the year when you go to file your taxes, that you just check that little box on the claim that asks if you want them to take taxes out of your check, okay? There was a debate over these jobless benefits that were paralyzed in the Senate for hours on Friday evening when the moderate Democrat Joe Manchin threatened to basically blow up the stimulus negotiations about the unemployment benefits. So this is all because of Joe Manchin, but finally they did what he wanted. They got it. They got it together. Okay. After concession from Democratic leadership came on board, the $1,400 direct stimulus payments will also be included in the bill. That's $1,400 per person, including adult and child dependents. So for a married couple with 2 children, house of 4, you should receive $5,600 stimulus, okay? Full payments will go out to individuals making under $75,000 and couples earning up to $150,000, but partial payments will only go to individuals making less than $80,000 and couples making less than $160,000. That means that many people who qualified for the first 2 rounds of the stimulus will actually not qualify for the 3rd round of stimulus. Okay, this was another amendment that they had to kind of adjust because there was no way that they were going to get this through. They wanted a quicker phase out, and they have it. So $80,000 for individuals, and then $160,000 for married couples. And then after that, it's a wrap. There's nothing else that can be done at this point. Okay. Democrats also agreed to require schools to establish a plan for reopening, but beat back scores of Republican amendments aimed at forcing schools to reopen or lose precious federal aid. So I actually like that. Basically, what it's saying is that schools have to establish a plan, and I'm hoping that that plan will include details about the safety of the children and the benefit of the children, and then it has to be approved, hopefully, before they can actually open the school, whereas the Republicans were just wanting the schools to just hurry up and open, and then they were threatening to take away the aid for those schools that did not open up quickly as they want them to, okay? So it says, still the final piece of the legislation provides funding for many of Biden's key campaign promises around relief. The bill includes a child tax credit that gives families $3,000 per child per year. And then $3,600 for children under the age of 6, which they're trying to create a plan so that you can get that on a monthly basis starting July 1st all the way till December 31st. You will receive monthly payments if you have child dependents, and then you'll receive the, because that's only 6 months worth of payments, you will receive the rest of that when you file taxes next year. There is $350 billion for state and local and tribal governments, $50 billion for contact tracing, $60 billion for vaccine distribution, $130 billion for K through 12 education, funds for rental and mortgage assistance, support for restaurants and bars, funding for nutrition programs, and more. It says Republicans were united in their opposition to the package. For weeks, Republicans have criticized Democrats for their unwillingness to work across the aisle to more closely target the spending bill they called a liberal wish list. So at the end of the day, I don't give a damn what they call it. I don't care what they call it. It could be a wish list. It could be a letter to Santa Claus. It doesn't really matter. We're in a pandemic right now, and people need money. People need help. That's just, honestly, that's just where it's at. I mean, what else can you say? They're always going to fight about something. It doesn't matter what it is. I've been saying that it's always going to be something. It doesn't matter what it is. It's very rare that they ever agree. So I'm not at all surprised that they weren't exactly jumping on board or passing out party, what do you call those things? Party bags or gift bags about this stimulus package. Doesn't surprise me one bit. Okay, so then U.S. President Joe Biden said on Saturday that Senate passage of his $1.9 trillion stimulus package means that $1,400 payments to most Americans will start to go out this month, and the bill's provision will speed up manufacturing of distribution of vaccines. Biden was speaking at the White House after the American Rescue Bill passed on the Senate in a party line vote of 50 to 49, said that over 85% of American households will receive the payments. Okay. So that's a good thing. I mean, I don't think there's really much else that needs to be said. We've got the stimulus package passed. As far as we know, Nancy Pelosi hasn't come out openly and suggested that she opposes in any of the changes to the bill in regards to the unemployment going from $400 to $300, or the fact that the stimulus checks have a quicker phase out. There has been no opposition to that out in the open. So I think that we're good to go. I mean, things could always change. They've done so in the past, so things could definitely always change and go back to the way that they were. We could have some issue when it goes back to the House, but right now, I think it's safe to say that if once the House starts to vote on this, they're supposed to start their vote on this week. Today is Sunday. Happy Sunday, you guys. Hopefully you guys are getting your rest in, because that's what I intend to do. Today is my chill day. But hopefully when they start voting on this package next week, they can get it done by the 11th, which is Wednesday, and then it can be sent to President Biden and he can sign it. And then who knows? We just very well might have our stimulus checks by the end of this month. I wouldn't hold your breath on it, you know what I'm saying? But I think that so far so good. Now, moving on to what we can depend on. For those of you in California, you should have received your February maximum allotments of emergency SNAP today, which is March 7th. So if you haven't already, make sure that you check your cards. For those of you who are not already receiving the maximum benefit, you should have received another disbursement today. Now, we're going to go over the states, and there are so many more states that have currently been approved for the March allotments, okay? So I'm going to give you guys the names of those states. And again, you're going to have to watch this part all all the way to the end so that you don't miss your state, because they're not written in alphabetical order, okay? So bear with me. California, April 18th. Colorado, March 7th through the 12th. DC, March 10th and April 3rd. Alaska, March 1st through the 10th. Hold on, I need to sit. Sorry about that. Hawaii, April 12th. Illinois, March 23rd through the 31st. New Jersey, March 1st through the 5th, which is your regular issuance states. Iowa, regular issuance states. Wisconsin, March 20th, and then latent reinstated cases May 8th. Indiana, March 5th through the 23rd, odd days staggered only. Oregon, March 10th and March 30th. Kansas, April 15th and 24th. Maine, March 10th. Maryland, all month, depending on your regular issuance date. Montana, March 2nd through the 6th. So the last day was yesterday. Check your cards. Rhode Island, March 4th. Vermont, April 15th. Virginia, March 16th. Washington, regular issuance dates. West Virginia, Washington, regular issuance dates. West Virginia, March 4th. Wyoming, March 1st through the 5th. Alabama, you should receive your January allotments March 31st. For January, I don't know why. It said that when I went on to the United States Department of Agriculture. So I wanted to fill this, basically explain this to you guys, give you guys this information just in case you missed a disbursement. So generally what Alabama does is they will deposit it on one day to be available on the next day. So it says here that your January allotment should be deposited on March 31st, which means it may actually be available April 1st. But then at the same time, your March allotments will also be available. It says April 1st, deposited March 31st. So if you have double what you usually get, that's because you're getting both your January, if you haven't gotten it already, and your March allotments, which will be deposited on March 31st, both available on April the 1st. I know I explained this wrong last month and people were like, we didn't get it. It's deposited one day. You may not see it on your card though until the next day. Okay. So April 1st, you should have double the money. Georgia, March 25th, 26th, 29th, 31st. Kentucky, March 2nd through the 19th, according to your regular schedule and the last day of your social security number. And then new apps will be dispersed the day after approval. Mississippi, March 2nd, and then 2 days after approval for new apps. Missouri, March 1st through the 22nd, regular issuance dates. North Carolina, March 22nd through the 31st. South Carolina, March 1st through the 19th, and March 1st through the 31st, daily for new applications. Arizona, March 1st. Louisiana, March 4th, 11th, 18th, and 25th. New Mexico, staggered all month long in March. Texas, March 8th through the 12th. Utah, March 28th. Florida, March 11th. Guam, March 26th. Idaho, April 11th through the 15th. Michigan, March 20th. I did see Nevada on the list, but there was no payment dates available. So for those of you in Nevada, leave that information down below in the description box so that some of your fellow constituents can get that information, because I was unable to find it, but I will look for it again. New Hampshire, March 5th, 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th. Oklahoma, March 10th through the 15th. Pennsylvania, March 17th through the 20th, and then the 23rd through the 27th, and then a last run on May 7th, and then finally March 1st through the 20th. I did not see any information on the United States Department of Agriculture for New York. I'm going to do a brief check right now just to see, because I know that is one of the states that be wanting their tender love and care, always asking. It's either New York or Pennsylvania, which Pennsylvania has not been on there, I believe, for the last 2 months. So I was actually pretty shocked to see that they were on there this month. But let me double check to see if anything has changed. So I'm not seeing New York on here for March allotments, but I encourage you guys to take a look on your state website as well as possibly the Facebook page for New York to see if that information may be available there, but just hasn't updated here. And then last but not least, I'm going to give you the current names of the states that have been approved as of today for pandemic EBT school year 2020-2021. So we have Arizona, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, New Mexico, North Carolina, Ohio, Puerto Rico, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. So that is all, my beautiful people. Definitely remember to live, love, and elevate, and stay tuned for tomorrow's video. Peace.